designer, founder, connector, strategist. She leads community and experience at Atelier. It's an organization which combines strategic design studio with a learning academy and a creative hub. She has done so many amazing things, but really the most important thing going on this week for her is that she has been woken up every morning at 3 a.m. by a fire alarm. This woman needs our love, our love, our love. Let's give it to her. Hands up, please. Lean Sada.
Thank you, Kat. Thank you so much, Kat. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I know you didn't get to play your Justin Bieber tune with James, but I have a feeling you will play it with me. So hopefully I'll be able to be on time. So let me just go ahead and share my screen and then we can start. So thank you everyone for waking up early and joining us. It's actually easier to do this online because you don't have to go anywhere. So, all right. Just a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Great. Perfect. Cool. So as Kat and James, actually, I also did this in the format of 5 things that I've learned or 5 reflections from the last 5 weeks. So I'm just going to get right to it. Like most of us, March was supposed to be the busiest month of my life. And I said this multiple times. I had a packed schedule, social events, a friend's wedding, my birthday, all kinds of things. Work was going to be the craziest. I had over 16 events that I was organizing. And of course, like everybody else, March was canceled. And that really took me by surprise, and the journey basically to a new life began. So today I'm going to share with you 5 reflections that I learned through this new journey. So the first one, maybe it's time, maybe it's a big fat sign. So my first reaction to all of this was actually one of surrender and acceptance. And I was surprisingly calm and surprisingly took the time to slow down and really do things that I hadn't had the chance to do before. This included things like building my first 3,000-piece puzzle, cooking a lot, meditating. I was actually really excited about the downtime. So for me, it was maybe this is a time for all of us to stop and slow down. But of course, that didn't really last too long, as I quickly started to feel very frustrated and scared, and all these negative feelings started to come about. And what I realized was because of this emotional roller coaster, a big learning that I had was that having negative feelings doesn't mean you're not grateful for what you do have. So these are, by the way, the illustrations that you're seeing are another hobby that I took on when this all started, which was I started doodling my feelings throughout. So you'll see that these slides are kind of peppered with some of those emotions that I was having throughout. So, for example, just because you don't want to get on another Zoom call doesn't mean that you're not grateful to have a job. Just because you miss traveling and you're longing to travel doesn't mean you're not grateful to have a beautiful home to be stuck in. So this was something that took me a little bit of time to realize that just because I'm having negative feelings doesn't mean I'm not grateful. And recognizing those negative feelings is just as important as recognizing the positive feelings. So don't kind of push them away, really feel them and let them be, and of course end with gratitude. So that was number 2. And the third one that I learned was really that we often forget that we belong to something bigger. We get really tied into the minuscule, the day-to-day, why is this happening to me? But really it helps to gain perspective that you are part of something much bigger than yourself. And actually today is Earth Day, which is really relevant to this slide. And the way that I actually learned this was firsthand. I started to notice, and apologies for the horrible photos, but this was all I have, not a documentary photographer for a reason. But basically, I noticed that there were these two birds hanging out on my balcony, and I started to watch them. And over the course of the last 4 weeks, they have basically had a little baby bird that was born on my balcony. So you could see I'm very enthusiastically standing on the couch and documenting this. But it was really beautiful to watch these birds make a home for themselves and continue, and life goes on. And it really gave me perspective that, yes, what we're going through is unprecedented. It's a big deal. But at the end of the day, life goes on, everything around us goes on, and it helps to stop and pay attention to those. So on the far right is actually the baby, and on the left, far left, is the parents. One of them is standing on, this was at the beginning of the lockdown, actually. So one of them is sitting on the little light fixture, and the other is building a nest, actually, in this cute little basket. So that was really fascinating for me. And the next thing I want to talk about is something that I feel will resonate with a lot of you, is that some days we feel like we only have one purpose, which is to stay safe and stay sane, and that's perfectly okay. So a lot of days this feels like I have no purpose at all. I'll wake up in the morning, I have no idea why I exist or what I'm supposed to do. I feel completely demotivated. And then I feel this rush of guilt for feeling demotivated. And something that I've really learned is that it's totally okay to feel that way. Ooh, last one.
Do it,
All
do
right,
it, do it.
Finale. So lastly, and this is probably the most important one, so I'm glad you're letting me do this. So now's our time to reinvent how we connect with one another, and community is more important than ever. Obviously, like a lot of you, all of my life has been transformed into the digital realm, whether it's hosting a Dubai Ideathon for 160 people, doing Creative Mornings, having a friend's birthday party, catching up with family. It's all gone online, and that can be very energetically draining. And what I've learned is this is our opportunity to recreate how we connect with others and recreate what we think of when we think of community and when we think of connecting energetically with people.
Beautiful.
And yeah, that's it.
Oh, Lean, I'm sorry. Hands up, Lean. Hands up, show us some love. Oh, Lean, that was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, especially the baby bird. Thank you for sharing that with us. That was some very, very beautiful things.
If I had more time, I would have showed them to you live because they're sitting in the nest right now.
Maybe we'll have time. I tell you what, let's do this. Let's hopefully we'll have time at the end. We can bring that in. What we'll do is we'll take one question from the audience. Give us a great one, Shivani, and then people can ask you in private chats or in the chat. Maybe you can take more questions, Lean, afterwards. Would that be okay? Lean?
Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Perfect.
Shivani, what have we got from the audience? Shivani, we have a question for Lean. Shivani? Okay, let's go into the chat. Let's see if we can get a great question from the audience. I'm not sure if Shivani can hear us. Okay. Question for Lean. How do you advise to make space for creativity? And that was from, I missed who it's from. Hold on one second. That was from Dana.
Great. Well, shout out to Dana or Dana. She's tuning in from LA, actually. So it's great that you chose this question. how do I advise to make space for creativity? So that's a really great question that I struggle with most days, to be honest. So I don't think I have the perfect answer. But for me, it's really about noticing when you feel overloaded, similar to what James said, just taking account for those times where you feel completely overwhelmed and overloaded and making that space. So giving yourself time in the morning, for example, to meditate, to draw, to just block off that time in your calendar. I've been doing this twice a day for lunch and in the morning, so no one can put Zoom calls in those slots. So that's been really helpful for me. And another thing is just finding what works for you. And you don't have to make space for creativity. This can be something that you decide that's just not for me, but I want to make space for something else. It could be fitness. It could be watching something, reading something. So I think finding what works for you is so important today more than ever.
That's beautiful, Lane. Thank you so much. I just caught I saw a quick comment. I saw someone called you toothbrush lady, and somebody said, this is beautiful. This is from Hannah. She said, the birds picked the perfect nesting spot. Oh,
thank
so
you.
Gorgeous.
Thanks,
That's lovely. Thank you so much, Lane. And please, if you're obviously a lot of questions didn't get answered, send them to Lane and she'll get back to you. Okay? And now